Hello again, I am Blunty, and I've just come back from the offices of Sony Ericsson, where I got a full-on hour-long briefing and some hands-on time with the Xperia Play, which is more commonly known around the internet as the PlayStation phone, even though that's not its official name. Xperia Play is what it's called, but we all know it's the PlayStation phone, and I got to go through everything it can do, all the phone functions, and especially all the gaming functions, of course, and got to have some... Let's hold that up the right way, shall we? Professional. And as I said, I got some hands-on time with it. I got to really sit down and play with it. I got to play a few games, got to fiddle with the controls, I got to test out those little analog nubs, I got to play some wireless multiplayer games with one of the other Sony Ericsson guys, whose ass I kicked, by the way, even though he's been playing it for a long time now and he knows the tracks and he knows how everything works and everything. My first time sitting down with a multiplayer, kicked his ass, booted him all over the place. He's crying right now, whimpering in the corner of his office somewhere. And the Australian launch date has been narrowed slightly. Instead of a 3-month window, which we had before. The last time I made a video about this product, it's now come down to May, June. So it's a 2-month window. We're still at least a month or two away from it actually releasing. But nevertheless, is the words I'm looking for. God, I can't speak today. I cannot form consonants and vowels and form them in complete, whatchamacallits. Was that joke too obvious? I think it was. Anyway, obvious joke! But even though we're still a month or two away from the Australian release, they did actually give me a review unit to take home and play with. And aside from that, it was actually a retail boxed review unit. So I'm going to do what I normally don't do, and that's an unboxing. And the reason I normally don't do unboxing is because they're tedious and ridiculous, really. But seeing as we're so far away from release, there aren't that many of these floating about at the moment. I did get one in the retail box, so I figured I'd do an unboxing, open it up, show you what's in the box. So let's switch the camera angle and we'll do that. Alrighty, here we go, the Xperia Play. Front of the box, back of the box, or front of the box, back of the box, I'm not sure which is which, but who really cares in the end? It's got a little pokey hole there so you can go and poke out another box, because everything needs more than one box. So let's pop it open here. Okay, we've got a big thick lid there. In here I suspect we have, yeah, there we go, there's the headset hands-free kit there, which should be fairly decent because, you know, it's Sony Ericsson and they've got an audio electronics arm, so they feel small and plastic, but I'm sure they get the job done. A couple of different sized earpieces there if your ears are oddly shaped. And what have we got here? My first hour guidebook, which unfolds like a ridiculously big map. This is the for dummies version of when you get your phone. Tells you pinch and zoom and all that kind of crap. No, no. Plastic bag, no. Here's what we want. Here's the phone itself, nestled in the box there. So let's pop him out there in his self little plastic bag now. Oh, look, we got the screen protecting things that sit everywhere. There we go. So there is the Sony Ericsson Xperia Play. Hardware buttons down the side there instead of those soft buttons you get on some Android devices. 5.1 megapixel camera on the back there. There's your shoulder buttons for gaming. There's your volume switch. And I know what you're thinking. That's a weird place for a volume switch, right in the middle there. But think about it. When you do this, and you pop out the gaming controls, and your fingers are like that, what's the most likely time you're going to want to adjust the volume? When you're playing a game. And if the volume button is right there in the middle, you can just go, oh, I'm gaming, boom, 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 and reach right there. Volume down, volume up, volume down, volume up. And it makes it really easy. It's actually clever design. It's got a real... It's not as heavy as I thought it would be because... Well, basically because of the fact that it's got the control pad there, and that has to be a certain thickness to be comfortable and to put all the electronics in there. It's a little bit more chunky than you're used to seeing on modern smartphone devices, but it doesn't feel very... Where's my phone? Yeah, see, I think my iPhone is actually heavier than the PlayStation phone, the Xperia Play. Hard to tell. It's a close call anyway. I'll check the figures and I'll put them on screen if I can find them. But so we've got your little analog nubs there. And in playing with these today, playing actual games with them, they actually work really well. They're very, you know, they're just a capacitive touchscreen kind of, well, not a touchscreen, but touch surface kind of thing. And you got the little nub in the middle there that lets you know where the center is, and a sort of little circle around the outside to let you know where the edges are. And they're very, very subtle, but you can just feel them when you're sliding your thumb across, and they actually work really, really well in-game. I was actually really surprised by how well they work. You've got your standard PlayStation buttons there, and your standard PlayStation D-pad there if you've got something to play that doesn't use the analog sticks. And of course you've got your start and select down there, as well as a menu button thingy, what's the name? Doovie, and of course the certified for PlayStation little logo down the bottom there. Something else really lovely that I found out while I was playing with this today is a lot of standard Android games. Sony Ericsson have gone out and they've given them everything they need to know to make these buttons work with normal Android games. Not just the PlayStation certified ones that go on this device, but a lot of regular games can now be mapped to these controls, which is fan-bloody-tastic, because as I said in the first video I made about this phone, on-screen gaming is fun for certain sort of swipe, pokey, slashy kind of games, but sometimes you just cannot beat a proper gamepad control. And this is a proper gamepad control. The Sony Ericsson guys bought the guys over from PlayStation who designed the controller for the PlayStation 3, and they sort of did everything to do with the controller, including how thick it was and the weight of it and how wide it was and how deep it was and where your fingers should sit and all that sort of stuff. So this is designed by people who know what the hell they're doing with gamepads, and which is, you know, why it works so well. The rest of the phone, of course, done by Sony Ericsson, so the phone people. So let's see if we can get this back open here. See, what I should have done is looked at that dummies guide to work out how to get the back off. There we go. Don't want to break it. Well, no battery, that must be elsewhere in the box. But there we go. Right here we've got the memory card tray. So right here we've got a micro SD card, and they give you an 8GB SD card to get you running right off the bat, which is really cool of them. 8GB. So, you know, they're not going to give you a 2GB one, then you have to go out and buy a bigger one because 2GB is just about useless. And right underneath that there's the SIM card tray, so they sort of sit right on top of each other and just slide right in there. Okay, so let's put that down for a sec and see what else is in the box here underneath the big tray. We'll throw that aside, and here we've got the charger, which is just, you know, a regular little little one with a USB connection in it, which is really cool, which means you can charge it off standard USB if you need to. And there's your cable, which looks like any other USB cable. Boring, don't need to see it. And of course here's the battery. So let's pop the battery in and boot them up. Now the Sony Ericsson guys told me that they've done some setting up of this already for the ones they're given to journalists and people like me. So this will not be the proper out-of-the-box experience, I think, but let's see. Let's just wipe that because I've got it all greasy. There we go. So let's press the power button on the top, and we'll see how we go. Do 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 do. Are we powering up? It did. Oh, there we go. So there you go. Right, now I won't go into this too much. I mean, it's you know, the schmicky Android and all that sort of stuff. We'll cover this in the full and proper review, but one thing I would like to point out, that the instant you slide out your little game tray there, we go straight into game mode, so you're ready to go. There's no menu thing to select. You don't have to find it in the sub-menus. There's no icon. You just slide out your tray, boom, you're in game mode. These are a whole bunch of Android games that are ready and key mapped for this, and there's just a ton of them sitting here waiting for you. Check this out. I mean, some of these are awesome games. And then we go across to the Xperia Play ones. Ba 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 ba. And, you know, you can bash that and head straight to the market, and that will automatically search for all the games that have been made ready for the Xperia Play. And we can just hit down that list. Lots of them sitting there waiting, and this thing hasn't even launched yet, and that's how many games are sitting here for people. It's insane. So we can hit the home button there and we're boom, straight back to the home screen. In my time playing with it, the hour-long briefing session I had with it, it is actually a really impressive piece of kit. It seems like a really nice Android phone, and the gaming experience on it is better than I ever expected from it. Quite honestly, I was expecting it to be decent, but it is actually really good, and this may well become a really big player in mobile gaming. The Xperia Play and all the follow-on models, which will be PlayStation certified, Android PlayStation certified. I think this is going to be kind of a big deal. So there you go. There's your sort of first impressions / unboxing of the Sony Ericsson Xperia Play PlayStation phone. There will, of course, be a full, proper review coming. Probably even do 2 videos. One I'll focus on what it's like as a gaming device, and one I'll focus on what it's like as a smartphone, because it's important that it does both those well if it's going to be a success. So keep your eyes out for those. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I am Blunty, and I will catch you next time.